Canberra Raiders suspended two of their backline stars, Josh Dugan and Blake Ferguson. The pair were stood down by the club after breaching team protocol just 2 days after the team's loss to the Penrith Panthers. It all started with a photo that was put out on Instagram by Josh Dugan. It's not the one of him in the green jersey, it's the one in the top left-hand corner with his old mate Blake Ferguson in the background. I believe he was on the roof of Blake Ferguson's house when he should have been at training. And then not long after it became known to the Canberra Raiders decision makers about what he was doing, he decided to go to Twitter and said, "This goes beyond the drinking while injured. Yes, I've broken team rules, but for me it goes deeper and I plan on sorting it out." Then later, "I apologise to my teammates and the fans, but this is personal and needs to be sorted out as soon as possible for me to move forward." Now, we have heard that perhaps there has been a falling out between Josh Dugan and his coach David Furner. Can you expand on this for me, PK?
Yeah, I can tell you what happened. Look, David Furner was at work Monday morning going through the video of the game the night before. Now, obviously, Dugan played pretty ordinary in Sunday's game. He got a phone call from the police. They'd had reports that Josh Dugan was on a roof somewhere. They thought he might have been nude.
As you do.
Well,
he was nude. That was the report. That was
the report. When they got there, he wasn't nude. The police went and checked on him. They told him to get down. He was making oink oink noises to the police. And so, look, there was really nothing they could do. So they just let him go. He wasn't harming anyone. It was a private house. All the rest of it. They moved on. 2 o'clock that afternoon, the Raiders got a recovery session. David Furner turns up at the recovery session after having done his video, and there's no Josh Dugan there. So a couple of phone calls were made. They located him. He went round to where it was himself to basically find out what was going on. Dugan basically said to him, "I'm sweet, I'm okay." And he said, "Mate, you're drinking. It's recovery. You're not supposed to be doing this." He said, "I'll be sweet. I'll be playing. I'll sweet to play this weekend." He said, and then he said, "I'll play as hard as I did yesterday." And Furner obviously did a double take. And he said, "Unless you thought I didn't play that hard yesterday." And Furner just said, "Well, mate, what do you think?" So he said, "I just wanted to see it for myself." He got back in his car and he left.
So at the moment, these two have been suspended indefinitely. Is there a chance that they could receive more severe punishment?
Yeah, Dugan will be sacked tomorrow.
Dugan will be sacked tomorrow by the Canberra Raiders?
Yeah. He'll be sacked tomorrow.
So is that the board meet tomorrow?
The board meet tomorrow. They've had a little bit of toing and froing because there's been sponsors involved. He's got third-party sponsors. Part of the problem there is that his third-party sponsors are also third-party sponsors for Josh Papali, who they've just managed to entice to stay at the club. And they were worried about upsetting them and them walking away from the Papali deal. But they're not upset. And I think David Furner's doing what he needs to do. He's got to get control back at the club. You cannot have this going on. So tomorrow Dugan will be, he's already made noises about going to France to play. When he's talking there in those tweets, we all initially took that as when he had personal reasons and things like that, that he had some sort of emotional issues within himself. But it now appears that those personal issues were with David Furner, the coach. And the finger up in the photo, that was also to David Furner as a, you know, this is where I am, not where I should be type picture.
His players must just be crying, you know, at this type of behaviour. And
well, that's Ben, just quickly, a big reason he's being moved on is because he's lost the senior playing group. They've spoken about it. They don't want him there. They don't believe he puts in off the field, and there's quite a few that doubt he puts in on the field when the going's against him.
Horrible position for the club to be in. It's like the Todd Carney thing happening all over again because they know they released Josh Dugan from his contract at Canberra. He's just as liable to turn up at another club and go and win himself a Dally-M medal like Carney did.
That's true, but you've also got to take a stand for your own club, don't you? And you know this. If there's a bad apple at the club, you've got to move him on because he runs the risk of infecting everybody else. And David Furner cannot have this guy continually snub his nose at him in front of the other players, because in the end they're going to start looking at David Furner as the head coach and say, "Well, mate, you're going to do something about this, because you know if you don't, I'm going to start losing a little bit of respect for you." And David Furner, to his credit, is taking some control back.